Today on Till We Make It, some veteran advice for you. Troubleshooting tips for fixing a dangerous ring. I'm Mike Quackenbush. This is Till We Make It. And if you're passionate about the craft of professional wrestling and you're never done learning, growing, or evolving as a performer, I think you're in the right place. Won't you join our community? Subscribe below so you never miss out on a video. Today, I want to offer up some troubleshooting tips so that as you walk the ring before the audience is ever let in, you might be able to identify some dangerous areas in the ring and have the knowledge to be able to fix them. The first element I want you to eyeball will require you to be at a distance from the ring. You're going to check and see if the ring is out of square. Do you know what I mean by this? You're going to look at the ring posts and determine if they are bowed in, bowed out, or bowed at an angle. And if you notice any of these things, you're probably going to want to enlist the aid of the ring crew to fix for them. Here's what you're going to do. Start by loosening from the top all the way down to the bottom. That means top rope, middle rope, bottom rope, and then whatever is underneath the ring, like a come-along, which is a cable that goes around the outside perimeter of the four posts, or cross cables, which run from one post diagonal to another and form a letter X underneath the ring. These are often tightened by a turnbuckle of their own or through a ratchet strap or similar mechanism. You're going to make sure that everything is shored back up and is flush against the frame. All the boards are flush against the frame. Everything has been fully inserted into the frame of the ring, and then you're going to tighten back up from bottom to top. The second element you need to be on guard for is when the flooring of the ring is uneven. And this can be established from outside the ring. You need not even be in the ring. A simple way to do that is this. You can run your hand along the apron of the ring to see if any boards are jutting out. Everything should be flush. It should be very even, so your hand should pass smoothly along the apron. But if boards are jutting out, remember this. Although it's hanging over the edge of the frame on this side of the ring, on the opposite side of the ring, there's a gap. And anywhere there's a gap in the flooring, a foot could go in there, an ankle could be twisted, any number of things could go wrong if there's uneven flooring. Typically, to put the flooring back into place, you're going to have to pull up the canvas and then whatever is underneath. Now, usually there's some kind of matting or foam underneath. You're going to peel that away and then push all the boards back into alignment. When the canvas and anything else has been peeled away to reveal the flooring of the ring, are the boards warped or bowing in any direction? Now, if they happen to be bowing down, of course you can take that board and flip it so that it's the other direction. And over time, it may even out. But if you decide to make that move, you can't do it for just one board. All the boards have to be flipped, so the entire floor of the ring remains consistent. If one was bowed up and the one next to it happened to be bowed down, that would create a gap. Someone running the ropes could easily get their foot stuck in there, and then we have an injury occur. So, if the solution to the flooring problem is to turn one board over, remember, you gotta turn all the boards over. I know this next one's kind of obvious, but since all this information needs to be in one place as a singular repository for these types of items, it's worth saying. If there's a cracked board in the ring, replace it with a new one. That cracked board will not get better by magic, or by any other process that I know of, actually. You just gotta replace it. If you find a cracked board in the floor of the ring, replace it as soon as possible. I have 3 things I'd like to share with you about canvases, starting with this one. If the canvas on your ring is dark in color, it's black, navy blue, dark gray, etc., beware of leaving it out in direct sunlight for hours on end before an event. So if you're on an outdoor card and a dark colored canvas has been left in the sun, it's going to be unbelievably hot by the time that you get in there. I am telling you this as someone who has had both triceps burned by a dark green canvas that spent all afternoon exposed to the sun. Now I will share with you item number 2 on the subsection that's just about the ring canvas. Let's say you're about to perform in a ring that has a canvas which is vinyl or plasticky in makeup. Be aware that any kind of liquid that ends up on a canvas of that type, be it sweat or water or orange juice, will basically turn that canvas into a slip and slide. It's extremely dangerous to wrestle on a canvas of that type once it becomes wet. So the solution is to get it dried off between every single match. Someone's going to go out with a towel or at the very least a mop and try to clean up as much of that liquid as possible before the next match comes out. Because that water, sweat, or orange juice is not going to evaporate, it's not going to be absorbed, and it sure isn't going to clean itself up. Now it is time for item 3, subsection canvas, the one about holes in the canvas. So, are there holes in the canvas? If so, you've got basically 2 solutions to avail yourself of. Number 1, if you have someone with both the skills and the equipment to do it, it can be patched the same way you might patch a hole in pants. If the patch itself is too thick, you might consider patching it from underneath. If you don't have this available to you, consider the wrestler's Band-Aid. Yep, duct tape. You're going to get duct tape and basically Band-Aid that hole shut as a short-term solution. I do think it's important we all acknowledge eventually holes in canvases, tears and rips will get to a point that there's just no fixing them anymore. And it might be time for your canvas friend to be laid to rest. But fear not, there's another canvas coming soon that will love you just the same. And that's the end of the subsection that's all about the canvas. Can we talk about ring ropes? Let's. Something's amiss in the tension of the ropes, like the middle rope is the tightest of the 3. So, what do you do in a situation like this? Well, loosen from the top down to the bottom rope to begin, but don't release the tension under the ring from the cross cables or the come along. What you'll notice is that the ring post will ever so slightly bow out. Then you'll evenly work from the bottom to the middle to the top. And as you get the tension correct, you'll notice that the ring posts come back into square. If the top rope does not have the proper tension, the ring won't come back into square. And you can eyeball this from a distance. If it's too loose, it will stay bowed out. And if it's over tightened, it will bow in, adjust accordingly. I thought I was done talking about the ropes. I'm not done talking about the ropes. There's one more thing we have to talk about. It takes place in the danger corner. Do you know which one I mean when I say danger corner? That is where the end of the rope or cable comes back around to the beginning and has to be doubled up on top of itself, and then it's secured in place with a piece of hardware. It's clamped or bracketed, or other pieces of hardware names go here, I guess. That's what holds the whole apparatus together. Over time, through wear and tear, parts of that can be exposed, and if so, they need to be recovered, if not with a piece of foam, then some other kind of sheathing or hosing, so that any sharp or jagged piece of hardware doesn't cut one of the wrestlers when they get sent into the corner. And also in the danger corner is where you're most likely to see the rope or cable fray over time. Now, if it's rope that you're dealing with, of course, you can just trim the frayed pieces right off. But if it's airline cable you have to deal with, consider taking electrical tape to hold the fraying together and put a plastic cap over the entire thing before closing that section of the danger corner back up. And remember, once a cable or rope has begun to fray, it's a sign of things to come. Is it the sort of thing that you need to replace when the show starts in half an hour? No, I don't think it is. But it's something you're going to want to consider as a long-term project because eventually that rope or cable will have to be replaced. There is one more potentially dangerous element about a ring I would like to call to your attention right now. And it's going to happen in the turnbuckle. Not the turnbuckle pad, that's the cover that goes over the end of it, but the metal fastener that holds the rope to the corner post. These turnbuckles can become stripped over time, just like a screw gets stripped. And if that happens, while a rope won't necessarily break, the turnbuckle can pop, meaning that it will get pulled out to its maximum length because there are no threads to hold it in place any longer, and all of the tension will disappear from the ropes. They'll become slack in the moment the turnbuckle pops. What's dangerous about that is, if someone is hitting the ropes at that moment and causes the buckle to pop, the rope becomes slack and the wrestler could fall out backwards to the floor. Stripped turnbuckles need to be replaced. If upon hearing this, your gut reaction is, Mike, where on earth am I going to find new turnbuckles? Allow me to direct you to a company called Fastenal. They specialize in fasteners. And although they're not sponsoring this video, they are welcome to sponsor me in the future. When you visit the Fastenal website or you call the store nearest to you, you're going to need to know the size of your turnbuckle, and generally it's printed right on the turnbuckle, just go check your ring, and you need to know what types of ends you need on the turnbuckles. So you might need a 2-hook end turnbuckle. You might need 2 eyelets on the end, that's why I'm making this gesture, or you might need an eyelet with a hook. That's the kind of ring that I have. But obviously, if you don't buy the right part, you're not going to be able to do the repair. That's the main takeaway of today's Till We Make It, how to order parts. If you're looking to build some better pro wrestling, check out my latest book. Toolbox Building Better Professional Wrestling will give you the structural and performative tools that you need to take your in-ring game to the next level. It will not teach you how to fix a dangerous ring or even troubleshoot those areas so that they become safe during the performance. But you will learn something from it. I guarantee you will learn something from my book.